It's an interesting thing. I mean, if you start analyzing the history of religion in the Vaishnavas, for example, Udupi deity, very funny. The Udupi deity is not looking out of the door of his chamber. He's side put. Why? There is a little, there's outside of the temple, there's a statue of a Sudra. And that Sudra at this time was not allowed to come in the temple. But he was so devotional towards the deity that the deity turned around and stayed around looking at this devotee who was looking at him through a little gap in the temple walls. So the deity was not so fired up about all the Brahmins doing all this sophisticated puja. Krishna just turned around, he wanted to see that devotee who was standing outside. So there's the amazing thing, the question of being qualified, not qualified, who's qualified, when qualification. You know the famous Kiva Vipra, Kiva Nyasi Sudha Kenanaya, Say Krishna Tattva Vida Seguraya, all this. So I was there and I realized in South India, no. Without Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, this world would have been lost. There would be no chance for anybody. And us having a Vishwa Vaishnava Raj Sabha meeting in Vienna, Europe, forget about it, you know. Just forget about it. So it is entirely manifested by the sweet will of the Supreme, who has come in the form of Gauranga. And now we, in the service of the senior acharyas, which are the senior men of our sampradaya, those great acharyas, or the Guru Varga of our Guru Varga, we are trying to proceed. And proceeding is not an easy job. Like we are talking this morning about the different applications of time, place and circumstance of the different rules and regulations when you're preaching in the West, no? Are you going to only cook for yourself like some Brahmins do? Or what principle are you going to apply to your life? No? So then we had a meeting again of the Vishwa Vaishnava Raj Sabha, and we decided that we needed another organization to interface with those other organizations and acharyas. And that was born, and it's called the Four Sampradayas. Now I hope we're going to have some internet access with the blackboard here. I couldn't manage that yet. I don't think we have a Govinda. We can still try, maybe Gopishwa has. So we started an organization, it's called the number 4sam.org. So the 4sam.org, it means the Four Sampradaya organization, is an organization which can deal directly with all other acharyas, with all other institutions which are coming from the Vaishnava tradition. So the Four Sampradaya was started. You can visit it on the internet, forsam.org. No, just org. Forsam.org. That's a number, 4.
Number 4.
Yes. So the forsam.org was launched, and this year, then we presented that to the Vishwa Vaishnava Raj Sabha in India, and also we presented another thing which I'm now presenting to you in the same way, that those four sampradayas, even though they do believe all in the Vedas, in the Bhagavatam, in different respects, even they have different interpretations, like, for example, in the Tattvavadis, like Prabhupada explains, that they could never accept the Brahma Vimoha Lila, no? Where it said that Lord Brahma was confused about Lord Krishna. Now they have trouble with that because this is our guru. He started our sampradaya. How is it possible that he was confused? But these are little like decorative details. I'm just mentioning them here. But so in order to approach to them now, they there has not been a major communication. Now we have another phenomena, which is really an interesting phenomena, which in 2009, where we are here, we are just facing, or we are surprised that how much communication has facilitated of us to be connected to each other. I mean, without the boats and the airplanes, nobody of us would have ever been to India, most likely, no? But nowadays, our Indian traditions, our roots, they are just recently discovering the internet. Very recently. They have treasures, you know. What are the treasures? What is the greatest treasure of the Vaishnava history? The libraries. That is the treasure. That's where we know that Rupa Goswami existed, no? Because of all the things he had written down, no? So the libraries, they were the key. You know, Mahaprabhu found the Brahma Samhita in the library in South India, in the Kurma temple. And then he brought it in, he brought it into the focus of the attention, what was written there. So the libraries are the greatest treasure. Now, by our digital world, the libraries are changing features in an interesting way, because even in India, you know, a great dilemma was happened that you see, before Prabhupada came to the West, you know how serious the things were? That the Goswamis of some of the temples, they had lost their interest in their original manuscripts. They were selling them off easily. Some of the original documents ended up in the Yamuna, the libraries, because there was not the living sampradaya in some of those niches. So the Matsya program started, recovery and saving whatever sacred texts are available. You know, Ayurveda, many parts are lost. They were never found again. Plus there were the interferences made, like one sannyasi in India, he made a research of the interpolation of the Vedic texts through the British, and he found quite a lot of it. And he said, hey, we have to be careful what we're getting there, Shastra, to make sure it's actually according to the Parampara, because there had been interpolation by the British, because the Britishers really tried anything and everything to discredit India's tradition. And so they also discredited, they had the control over many of the temple libraries, and so there was, and they paid the scholars, like it is known now that many scholars were purposefully paid. Their job was it to confuse the whole thing. So nowadays, where we are creating new libraries, like one of our members, Bhakti Vaibhav, Bhakti Vishnu Maharaj, no, not Vishnu, from South. Bhakti Bhavan Vishnu Maharaj. He has done an incredible work in creating the Acharya Folio. The Acharya Folio is the vastest amount of digital Vaishnava literature to the moment available to the public. You can get the Acharya Folio. And the Acharya Folio is growing and growing and growing. That is one of the services of the Vishnu Vaishnava Lachava. A bank of information is being created, even digital photos, digital movies, you know, that's how we got some of the sound recordings of Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj, things which were precious nectar, which at any second could be lost to the world. They're kind of recovered and they're preserved. So the libraries now are because you see, if you look at the Vedic history, most people, they did not read. The few people who did read, they copied maybe a few important books, and they were kept in some libraries where most people didn't have access.